Hello, we're back for another episode of This Week in Cardinal Baseball. Today we'll talk about a few different subjects. First, what they did this week. Second, their overall rankings in baseball. And third, we'll get into the lineup a little more. Next week I want to talk a little more detail about pitching staff, and I'll say just a little bit today. But first, the Cardinals went 5-2 again. The Cardinals are on fire. They are in first place. I don't care much about what place they're in at this point of the year, realistically. I mean, the only time it actually matters is the last day of the season. So enjoy them being in first. Don't get too excited about it, and don't freak out if they drop down a little bit. Some things are starting to get back to what you'd expect. The Pirates suck. The Reds aren't very good. They're about 500 right now, but they're really not very good. The Brewers, right now, is kind of between them and LA of which one is the worst team in baseball, according to how they're playing right this minute. Overall, the Brewers are 3 games over 500. LA's a couple games over 500. It's just that both of them jumped out, and the Dodgers were 14-4. Now they're pushing 500. Milwaukee basically did a similar thing. They didn't jump out that fast, but they did jump out 6 games over 500, I believe. And now they had to win 2 in a row here to get to 3 games over 500 because they were down to 1. And Milwaukee's showing exactly what I said about them. For the hitting, they can't hit. They've allowed more runs than they've scored. So likely they will not keep this up. That can be a bit misleading, but your ratio of runs scored to runs allowed generally does show what you are. It's not always right because you have weird things sometimes with either losing big or winning big in streaks. They call it the Pythagorean theorem in baseball. Runs scored, runs allowed ratios. I think it's a decent approximation. Nothing works 100%. The Cardinals are well above. Haven't looked in a couple days. I think they're around 20 runs positive, plus 20. Well, Milwaukee's minus 7-ish, something like that. Everybody else in the National League Central is negative on runs scored to runs allowed. They've allowed more runs than they've scored. So you got a bunch of teams right around 500 that have scored less than they've allowed. That's not a good formula. That means they're going to be dropping more and more games, and they'll be below 500 most likely, unless they start hitting or pitching, depending on which team it is, what their issue is. Milwaukee has still pitched well. I don't think that'll continue. It'll be interesting when the Cardinals go to Milwaukee Tuesday. I believe Gant and Kim will pitch the first 2 games. I'm not 100% sure on the third game. I know that given the 5-man rotation, I would expect it to be Flaherty. But I'm not sure because they know at one point they said that Schilt had set it up so he wouldn't face Milwaukee. Milwaukee and Flaherty is an interesting history. If you look back to his rookie year, he nearly hit him twice. They couldn't touch him. And then suddenly it got better in 19. And then last year they smoked him in the one game and hit him decently in the other game. I think they had something on him. He's tipping pitches or something, and I would assume they figured that out and fixed it. But he's pitching very well right now. The Cardinals actually, if you look at runs scored per game, they're in the top 5. I believe they're number 4. Could adjust as the day goes on here, I'm not sure. I believe they're number 5 in runs allowed per game. So hence shows why they have one of the best records in baseball. They, at the moment, have the top record in the National League. And they're right there overall. I think the A's are 20. I think it depends on what the A's do today. The A's lose, the Cardinals have the best record. If not, I'm not sure. They're right there, though. This is a good team, as I've been saying. This is a good team that still hasn't hit its true stride. Mike was coming back will help. So let's go on to the offense a little bit. We'll go down the lineup. Edmond. He's an interesting player. He's an old school guy in many ways. He gives you all that effort. He's got lots of speed. Cardinals have 3 or 4 of the top 10 fastest guys in baseball, and Edmond is one of them. His average is good. His on-base percentage is good. Slugging's okay. I think he kind of goes in spurts with that. His OPS is good right now. It's right below 800, I believe. Last I saw, he didn't have a good day today. I think 800 is about where he needs to be. He's got enough pop. He should pop some home runs and hit doubles and triples. Carlson is becoming a star. His batting average is going up. His on-base percentage is going up. His slugging hasn't been going up so much. It's been doing okay. He hasn't hit a home run since the first week, but he's had lots of doubles and triples. I'd like to see a few more home runs. I want to see him in the 20s this year. I think he's capable of being a 20-20, 30-30 guy. I wouldn't expect him to be 30-30 this year. He doesn't run much, and I think the announcers are right there, holding back running somewhat in the top of the lineup because of Goldie and Arenado. Let's see, moving on. Goldie, his numbers aren't good. They're not absolutely horrible. I think they're actually not far from OPS-wise being average. And I'll come back to OPS here in a second. But Goldie, if you remember his history, look it up, he tends to start cold, and he heats up as the weather heats up. He did the same thing when he came over to the Cardinals. Last year, he obviously got to skip that, because by the time they started with July in St. Louis, which, of course, is hot, his power tended to fail a little bit later in the year last year, I think because he was tired with all the doubleheaders. But overall, I expect him to be 800s, maybe even low 900s in OPS. I talk about OPS because I think it's the best number to measure for offense. Well, you got to ignore batting average. Does it mean something? Yes. But does it mean much? No, it really doesn't. On-base percentage is a better number. I'd rather have a guy with higher batting average and that takes some walks than a guy that doesn't hit, but he takes a lot of walks. And slugging percentage is part of that, of OPS, so all those good things are measured. I think it's the best number. That or OPS plus, which is a normalized number where 100 is the average. And the ballpark is supposedly taken into account. I'm always curious about that because some ballparks just blow up people's numbers, like Milwaukee and Yelich. Arenado has been good. I'm actually quite impressed watching him every day. What a really, really good and really smart hitter he is. You'll see him situationally hit. He knows when he just needs a hit to right to score a run or two, that he'll do that. You see a lot of guys on every team and several Cardinal players who just want to pull the ball at all times, and he's not doing that. Even though he's hit more home runs in a year than any other Cardinal. DeYoung is an interesting one. People are so down on him. Well, first, he is a very good shortstop, although he's committed his 4th error today, and it's a little too much. It's not terrible, though, for shortstop. His batting average sucks right now. He's about 190. But ignore that. Go to OPS. Right now, the average OPS in Major League Baseball is in the mid-600s, which is terribly low compared to what it normally is. But his is 690, so he's just under 700. He's not hitting singles and doubles. He's hitting home runs. It's kind of strange. He's got 7 home runs. He's looked better. I think the average is going to go up quite a bit. I don't have any doubt it's going to go up. I don't think he's going to continue hitting home runs at the pace he's hitting them. I still see him as a guy in the 30s in home runs, not a guy in the 40s and 50s. But if he's hitting you 30 home runs, playing a good shortstop, and he can have an OPS close to 800, 750, 800, then I'm really happy. And he's a great 5th hitter that way. Molina has been hitting 6th, and considering how hot he's been at the beginning of the year this year, then that's fine. His normal self, he hits mid to upper 600 OPS, and that does not belong in the 6th spot. But given he's hot right now, keep going with it. Tyler O'Neill, if you paid attention, looks like a different player than he has in the past. He looks much more like the one in spring training. Power, of course, is off the charts. He's looking like a good hitter. He flat out made an error the other day. They didn't call it an error for some reason. Hits him in the glove. Yes, he was reaching up, but it hit him in the heel of the glove. That's an error. Stop it. But Ton is he's turned into a good hitter, and he's really helped them win. Then you've got Vader. Vader has also looked like a different hitter. Jimmy's talking about he looks like he's maturing as a hitter, and I agree. He can be a very good offensive player. People like to whine about the batting average for him. Once again, look at his OPS. According to OPS Plus, in his 3 Major League seasons, not counting this season, and not counting cameos in 2017 or 16, whatever that first year was. First year he played much. Going through his career, he's been better than average, playing a spectacular center field defense, but he's better than average offensively 2 out of the 3 years. He only had the one terrible offensive year. So let's just settle down on saying Vader can't hit. That's not true. Do I want to send him against certain right-handers? Absolutely. Do we need to platoon him? I want to see what's happening here for a little while, because he has shown progress, and if he continues it, then I would not platoon him and just keep him away from certain right-handed pitchers, like a DeGrom kind of guy. But overall, I'm happy with the offense. I think it can be better. DeYoung will get better. Goldie will get better. Vader and O'Neill. O'Neill's been a little bit cold the last few games, but overall he's done well. I want to mention Kins. I hate it when I do this. Yadi's replacement. Why am I just can't say it right now. I don't know why. Anyway, I think he's done a good job. He went through an 0 for 20 streak there just towards the end and got a hit to end that streak. But overall, he hit well. He did well catching. He looked good. The Cardinals didn't really miss Yadi when he was gone. Sorry, Yadi. Kid looks good. Carpenter. I do want to talk about that. Look, I would love if Carpenter could be really good and help the Cardinals. I don't think he can. The Cardinals love to say that, oh, he's just hitting to bad luck. He's hitting the ball hard, high X velocity. Well, above 95, yeah. How many exit velocities were above 100? One, I think. That's about it. To me, I think he's the luckiest hitter I've ever seen. You look at it, he's got 5 hits. 2 of them are bunts. Now, personally, I'd like to see him bunt until they make him stop by moving the infield around. Then go back to hitting the way you did, or adjust another way. Adjust seems to be something he doesn't know how to do anymore. Look at the 3 home runs. 1 hit the foul pole. That's pretty lucky. Could have veered off just a little bit and been foul. I mean, that's a foot difference, if that. 1 was actually caught, and the guy dropped it when his arm hit the wall. So that's pretty lucky. And then the third one in Pittsburgh just cleared the wall. Of course, according to Danny Mac, it went way over the wall, but the reality was it hit in the first or second row. It might not have gone in a whole bunch of places. He was very, very lucky. He hit it where it was. The outfielder wasn't close enough to it to jump up and catch it, or that it didn't go 10 feet towards center and not go out. He's the luckiest hitter I've ever seen. I don't get why the Cardinals say he's not lucky. And you're constantly hitting it right at people because you're hitting the ship. That's not bad luck. That's stupidity. Stop it. Let's see. There was one other subject I want to talk about. So when Cabrera hit, what's his name in the face? Harper. I'm having name issues today. When he hit Harper in the face, obviously he didn't do it on purpose. And then he hit the next batter. Okay. Pitches get away. Your mechanics are off. These things happen. It's terrible, but they happen. But John Heyman, yes, John Heyman, I'm calling you out because you deserve it, said he should be sent to the minors. He's one of the best left-handed relievers in baseball. He just had one get away. Tell you what, John Heyman, you had one get away when you made such an idiotic comment. You should be sent to dog shows. You should be doing dog shows. You're not good enough to do baseball. Get off the air. You're a complete, total idiot. Yes, I had to say it. I mean, come on, people. Everybody makes a mistake. This isn't a stupid mistake. This is just a physical mistake. It got away. It happens all the time. You saw one go over Vader's head today. Did anybody say that pitcher needed to go down? No. The overreaction on these things is just ridiculous. I bet if it had been Joe Smith that nobody ever heard of, they wouldn't have said a word. But because it was Bryce Harper that some of these guys have a love affair with, they go crazy. Bryce Harper's a good player. He's not as great as they seem to want to say. And by the way, doesn't matter how good or bad you are, getting hit in the face sucks. It hurts. I've been hit in the face. I've been hit about you can be hit after playing baseball for so many years. But it's just ridiculous how these guys behaved. And honestly, he should be suspended for a while and be off for making such an asinine comment. All right, so I'm very excited about the Cardinals coming up. I was a little disappointed they didn't get to face DeGrom because, believe it or not, DeGrom in Busch Stadium has an ERA over 8. And I would have loved to see how that was going to go. I know he's great and probably would have pitched great, but you never know. Milwaukee series is very exciting. I can't remember who they play right after that for the weekend. I'm blanking. Anyway, looking forward to another great week in Cardinal baseball. I hope they keep up the continued great play. And next week we'll talk a little more in depth and we'll talk numbers on pitching because the one statement I'm going to make about pitching right now is stop walking everybody. You're going to sabotage yourself. You're throwing way too many innings. Stop it. It's frustrating. Yeah, we all have days where we can't throw a strike, but come on, the Cardinals are leading the league in walks. Are you kidding me? Anyway, so this is a good team. Do I expect they'll end up with the best record in the National League? Probably not, but they should be somewhere in the vicinity. I still think the Dodgers are the best team, talent-wise, and I would expect them to take off. San Diego is a good team. I don't think they're nearly as good as people want to make them out to be, but they've done this over and over and over and over with San Diego. So let's just kind of see how those things work out. Don't get too excited. Don't get too upset when Cardinals go on a winning streak or losing streak. It's a long season. These things happen to every team, good and bad. So let's have fun, enjoy it, and not go crazy. We'll talk to you soon. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. We need all the subscribers and thumbs ups we can get. Talk to you soon.